Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest came from a viewer submission, which we love. Thank you so much for that, about a local business that specializes in helping aspiring authors, especially women, to get published. Here to tell us more about her company called Sulit Press is founder Michelle Savage. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about your business, what it is you do.
So we have a publishing house here in Austin, but we work with women worldwide, really. And we started this program really to help eliminate a lot of the barriers to publishing that a lot of authors face. And so we created something called a multi-author book program. So we come up with 4 titles a year, 4 concepts, and then authors enroll to write one single chapter in the book. Whoa. And we publish as a collective.
Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm guessing that you're going to tell me one of the ways that that really helps is that it's just one chapter. You don't have to have, your life's work finished and be handing it to a publishing house saying, please, please, please pick me.
Yeah, it can be so overwhelming to say, okay, I'm going to sit down, brand new writer, and write a full-length book by myself.
Absolutely.
And there's so many different choices in the publishing world. It can be really overwhelming. And so we wanted to create a very doable program where there's no way you won't get published. We don't have any authors left behind because we have a whole coaching program around that. So it's not just about having the story to tell. It's about having the success of telling it well. So we go through all the elements of good storytelling, and then we coach the authors on what to do with the book when they're done with it. So the whole launch process, how to market the book. And for a lot of our authors who are entrepreneurs or executives, thought leaders, creatives of all kinds, they can leverage the book in their business to reach other goals. If they want to be speaking on stages or on podcasts or, a number of other benefits that they can use the book to kind of help catapult them toward their goals.
Not only can you read my chapter in this book, but I'm a published author.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really cool. Talk to me about how you pick these topics, or, as you said, 4 per year, right? So I'm guessing they're pretty wide ranging.
They are. Obviously, there are those evergreen topics that appeal. There's always relationships, business, health and wellness, the evergreen topics that are always going to be part of people's lives. So we sort of spread those out throughout the year. Our first book is business related this year for women entrepreneurs to talk about how they ditched their 9-to-5 and said, all right, I'm going all in, because I think not enough women get to learn from one another of how do we do that.
Well, and there are some specific, I don't want to use the word barriers, but very specific challenges that I think women face as compared to maybe men in an entrepreneurship model.
Absolutely. I think, for generations, men often have kind of the golf course or the generational help that they get because it's been part of male culture in the work world. And for women, being a trailblazer comes with its advantages, but there's not always a huge community around to say, let me help bring you in, let me help show you how I did it. And I really think that this book is an opportunity to do that for other women who are looking to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So is what I'm hearing that the large majority of kind of the topics that you pick, we're not talking fiction necessarily, we're not talking romance,
Correct.
That sort of thing. We're kind of talking more about putting pen to paper, business world type stuff.
And they're not how-to books. They're really memoir, personal stories, because I really believe that you can learn so much more from showing somebody, letting someone see the world through your eyes rather than saying, here's 5 steps to do ... It's really the show, don't tell in storytelling. I think that just really engages the reader and helps them feel more inspired to do something in their own lives, whether it's the same thing or something totally different.
That's so wonderful. Okay. And as part of elevating their business's brand, I think it's fantastic that you give them so many resources. Can you touch on that just a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, the first resource is the community aspect of it, because instead of one author just launching to one network, it's 15 authors launching to 15 networks. So the visibility is exponential. But then we work with authors to help them create the assets they need in terms of an author website. We're starting a podcast this year. We create all of the launch materials so they don't just understand what to do. They have all of the assets to help them do it. And then we meet once a month with all of our authors online, and we bring in different professionals to help them with pitching, to help create social media content and things like that. So it's a continued education, and the authors are extremely supportive of one another.
Aw.
So it's like a big mastermind.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of having a light bulb moment about what you said. Let's call it health and wellness. I bought this book because I want to read from this author, but here I've just discovered a chapter from someone I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to follow them on Instagram. Now I'm going to look into, their practice or whatever it is they do. I can see how like all the cross connection is really helpful.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. Okay, let's talk about the journey to being an author. From maybe I'm a business owner, or maybe I'm out here doing this on my own. I've sat down, I've written a chapter, it's been accepted. What is transformative about that process?
Well, so our authors don't bring the chapter to us. We help them write it, but the access is really low. It's really a matter of going on our website, seeing which topic really resonates with you, and then I have a conversation with every single author to make sure it's a good fit for them before they really invest their time and their money and their talents. But yeah, it's not, we wanted to reduce the friction between the author who says, I have a desire in my heart to get published, and then getting it across that finish line.
Yeah.
And so it's really about creating the support for those authors.
Not only that, but the time.
Yes,
If you're
yeah.
running your own business or something else
Yeah.
on the side, this is an easy way to get your foot in the door. Last bit here is I just want to ask, if someone's thinking to themselves, what if my story is not big enough? What if my story is not important enough to share? What would you say to that?
Oh, it's my favorite question, because I 100% believe that every human has a story that's worth sharing. And I think if you go into that bookstore and you see the walls of books, you'd go, God, what could I possibly contribute that hasn't already been said? But then I think about, what about the book that I pick up and made the difference for my life? What if that author thought their story wasn't important to share? So you don't know always who you're going to affect and how it's going to resonate, but it's such a generous gift to be able to share your story, and it really changes you in the process too. It's a real journey of transformation to actually sit down and put pen to paper.
Absolutely, and then put your gift out
Yes.
in the world. That's a really cool idea, Michelle, that I hadn't heard before. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Of course, Michelle says, if you're a woman with a powerful message to share, but you don't know where to start, she wants you to get in touch. Learn more at sulitpress.com.